Hello and welcome back to Cookie and Hayden's, and I'm Car Boot Chris, and today I'm going to be giving you some little nuggets, some little golden nuggets of advice to help you do better with your reselling on eBay. So this week I thought I would give you my top 10 tips for reselling and using eBay. Bear in mind that I'm a part-time seller, so I do it as a hobby as well as to earn a little bit of pocket money. So I'm not reliant on it for paying my mortgage or paying my car or whatever. So these tips might be a little bit different for some of you, especially if you're full-time. And if you're full-time, you probably don't need my tips anyway. So what I'm not including in this top 10 are the obvious ones. The obvious ones being take good photographs, make a good description, package your items well so they don't break. That is a given to me. And if you're not doing any of them correctly, you might as well give up now. So we'll start off with number 10, and this little tip of mine is to say, do not be afraid of offering free returns on everything that you do. Now that's easy for me to say because I don't do huge amounts of clothing, and I think it's a lot more relevant for people that do clothing, obviously, because you can send something out, they can try it on, or it doesn't fit, whatever, send it back. That's probably going to have more impact if you are doing clothing. I offer free returns on everything at the moment, and it will boost your ranking in the searches on eBay. eBay like you to give free returns. It makes your listing stand out a bit more as well. It gives people a bit more confidence in what they're buying from you. I think I've only had about 5 returns since I've been doing this in the last 3 years, since 2015. I've only had about 5 returns. So don't be afraid to put free returns on your listings. It doesn't necessarily mean you're suddenly going to get bombarded with returns. So my tip number 9 is to say that each time I go out car booting or thrifting or charity shopping, I always try and pick up something that I've not done before, or I've not bought before, or something that's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I always try to pick up something because it makes it a bit more interesting as well, doesn't it? That's what I find anyway, that you're learning all the time, you're finding new stuff to sell, which is important. So I always try and find something a little bit different, something out of my comfort zone, something in a different category that I'm used to selling in, just to see what happens and to increase your knowledge, basically. Number 8 tip, and this is especially for me, but it might be relevant for you. Try to list your items as soon as you can after you've bought them. It might sound easy that, but it's not. If you've been on a car booting trip and you've bought bags full of stuff that you can barely carry, getting that lot listed as soon as possible can be quite difficult. But my advice is try your best to list as much as you can as soon after you've bought it as you can, because before you know it, you're on your next bargain hunting trip, or your next car boot, or your next charity shop run. You bought a load more stuff and you're behind, and before you know it, you'll have piles of crap that are going to bury you. And that's what happened to me. Tip number 7 is for eBay, have markdown sales on a regular basis. So 10% off everything, 20% off everything. I would say you could do one once every month or once every 6 weeks, and just do a big markdown and try and shift some stock. If you don't have markdown sales, then I would also suggest bulk editing all your listings every now and then. So you can bulk edit them and knock £1 off everything, or knock 50p off everything, or even put your price up believe it or not. You can put your price up by 10p on everything. Now what that does is it refreshes all your listings, so they start appearing more in searches and they start appearing higher up in ranks because you've refreshed that listing. Some people say that you can even bulk edit everything but not actually change anything. I've never done that, and I probably really should try it. You can bulk edit, click save, not change anything, and it refreshes all your listings. I've not tried that though, so that might be one to try. But bear in mind this, that if you change the price on all your listings for the next 14 days after you've changed that price, they won't appear in a sale that you do or a markdown. So because you've changed the price, it won't be eligible to go into one of your markdown sales. So just bear that in mind. My tip number 6 is to list items on eBay on a regular basis, daily if you can, even if it's just 1 or 2 listings or 5 listings in a day. It's really, really important because eBay's algorithms really like people who list on a regular basis. If you spend a day, getting a load of listings done, say you got 20 or 30 listings in a day, save them as drafts. Don't be tempted to put them all on at once, because what you can do is save them as drafts, and then if you've got a slow listing day or you can't be arsed doing any listings, we've all been there, you've got a few on your drafts and you can just upload 5 or 6 and then that's yours done for the day. It keeps you regular. Regular is good, and eBay like it, and you'll get more sales. So we're down to tip number 5, and this is really, really easy. Save yourself a load of money. Do not pay for boxes. It is ridiculous, right? There is so many free boxes to be had out there. Go down to your local shops, your local supermarket, and ask them, have you got any boxes that you're about to throw away or whatever? They always have. Go to your industrial estates. Just even, I would say, I bet you within half a mile of where you live, as long as you're not in the middle of nowhere in the countryside, within half a mile of where you live, there's free boxes to be had. Buying boxes like on eBay and stuff, I have done it when I first started, before I knew this. They cost a lot of money, and that is going to eat into your profits. Get them for free. Tip number 4, and this has helped me no end, I promise you this. You're watching me because you watch resellers on YouTube, obviously, which is great, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna be watching a lot of other resellers on YouTube, so I would recommend that as a starter. Get as many people on your YouTube watch list or whatever, subscribe to them. I've learned so much from YouTube videos, it's unbelievable. But sticking with social media, join some Facebook groups, right? Search on Facebook, resellers, thrifting, all that kind of stuff. There are loads of groups out there, and I have had no end of advice from some of the groups that I've been part of. Now, the 2 main groups that I'm part of, that I'm most active in, the first one is a group in America, and I can't recommend it enough. It's called the Thrifting Board. The Thrifting Board. Go and join it now. It's absolutely brilliant, and you might think that it's not relevant for us in the UK. In America, it is. Yeah, I've had so much advice in there. I've posted photos on there. Can anyone help me with this? Within minutes, I've still been in the shop, I've had a reply that it's this XYZ. Excellent. Advice on eBay, listings, whatever. There's so much advice on there, it's brilliant. The one in the UK that I follow the most is the Tat Chat. The Tat Chat. Join that one as well. But there are others as well which I'm a part of. I'm on about 10 different groups, and you get little snippets of information from all of them. So join Facebook groups, forums, and YouTube. So we're getting down to the really important ones now. Number 3 is get your stock room, your listed stock in order. Now, whilst it's early doors, do it, because this is my mistake, right? What you need to do is, especially if you're just starting out, is have all your listed stuff on eBay in a really, really good order. What I would suggest, and I don't do it myself because I've got 500 listings and it will take me forever, I will do this at some point. What I would suggest is you have boxes, especially clear ones, so you can see what's inside them. Numbered boxes, right? And when you're listing an item on eBay, you can do one or two things. In the end of your description on eBay, you can write what box number it's in. You can just put for office use only, box number 30, whatever. Or if you're listing on the desktop eBay site, you can enter information in custom label and nobody sees it. So when that item sells, it says box number 30, go straight there it is, piece of cake, you found your item. I've lost items, I've had people buy items and I can't bloody find them in my own stock room. It's horrendous. So have a numbered inventory stock room. It will save you so much time and effort. Number 2 is a reasonably obvious one. Research items on the spot. Whilst you are there in the shop, whilst you are stood at a car boot table, research. Get your phone out. You need the eBay app. Obviously, you're going to have that anyway. So when you're on eBay, check solds and completeds first, because it doesn't matter what somebody's listed something for. They could be asking £100 for a jumper, and you think, oh, there's someone there asking £100 for a jumper. That's great, but bully for them. Have a look at the solds, because if there ain't none that's sold for £100, then that's a waste of time. The solds is the important bit, so have a look at those first. If there's nothing on solds, have a look what people are asking for stuff. Fair enough, that's great. The other thing you need to do is get onto the Amazon Seller app. You can scan stuff, you can hover over the photograph of an item and it will identify stuff like that. And it will give you an indication of what an item is worth. Even if you don't use Amazon, you can still use the Amazon Seller app if you sign up as an individual. So there's two things. You can do that on the spot. Do not be afraid to get your phone out, scan something and see if it's worth anything before you shell out for it. So my final tip, my number 1 piece of advice that has had the biggest impact for my eBay shop, I learnt it from the Thrifting board. As I mentioned before, brilliant group to be a part of. I have all my listings as buy it now, but not only that, always have best offer on everything that you list. You might disagree with me, but I'm telling you now, when I changed this option, I didn't have best offer on anything, right? But all of a sudden, I got this piece of advice and I thought, I'm going to try that. I changed about 400 listings in one foul swoop. I put best offer on everything. And before you knew it, I had offers flying in for loads of different stuff. I was selling stuff left, right and centre. Yeah, you're going to get slightly less. But when you list it, from that point onwards, when you list it slightly higher than what you would normally list it for, bearing in mind that you're probably going to get an offer for it. There's absolutely no reason really for you not to have a best offer. I can't understand it. Now, having known what I know now, have a best offer on everything. I'm telling you now, it will make a massive difference. And what's good about it is it gets a conversation going with the buyer. And that's really important because they'll send you a best offer. You can send one back. You can leave a little note to say, this is my best price, sorry about that. And if you're nice about it, you'll come to an agreement with people, and that's good. Don't be offended by offers. I've had offers of £2 for a £30 item. So what? I just counter them back. I say, oh, £28. And I've had sales before where people have started off on silly numbers. Don't worry about that. It doesn't matter. The good thing is you can have a conversation with your buyer before they buy. So yeah, put best offer on everything, I'm telling you now. So that's it for my top 10. It's personal to me, but I think that some of you might get a little bit of inspiration from it and get some ideas on how you can make your sales a bit better. If you've got any sort of tips that obviously aren't in that list, but are absolute no-brainers in your world, just drop us a comment. Drop us a comment because I'd love to hear what your tips are, because I've changed so many of my ways of selling based on other people's tips, that I wouldn't be where I am now without those bits of advice. So drop me a comment with your best tips, and please subscribe at the same time. Hit the bell so that you know when my next video's out, and we'll see you later.